Today, I wanted to talk to you about a very special topic for me today. It just has set in my mind, and I just am so excited. I want to help you find joy and happiness. It seems ever so elusive in today's society, and under all the mountains of stress and difficult relationships and politics, all these things happening, I think a lot of us find it's hard to find joy and happiness. Like we're always looking, but we can't ever seem to find it. The harder we look, the more evasive it seems. So I had something happen to me this morning, but I really wanted to share with you my thoughts on how you can find and cultivate joy every single day of your life. So let me get started. Um, First of all, how I really want to explore this was just understand that there's a concept that just so deeply resonated with me was the idea of a fertile mind, right? A mind that's open and ready to cultivate the seeds of happiness and joy. So think of it just like a garden, right? Flourishes when the soil is rich and well prepared. Our minds need to be nurtured and enriched to allow positive emotions and beliefs and habits to take root and thrive. And that metaphor is so powerful. It has implications for how we approach not only our personal growth and resilience, but also our capacity to experience true happiness and joy. And I want to share a little story that I read um, in the book about positive mindsets. And um, there was a fourth grader in a study, and this fourth grader, what they were working on is helping people understand the power of a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And there was a two groups, a control group and an interventional group. And the control group of fourth graders were taught how to study, like, taking notes, keeping time management, those things, your typical study habits. Then the intervention group was, they actually taught about growth mindsets and that how their minds could grow and things could change. And what was really interesting in the book, um, their fourth grader that said after the intervention group was done, talking to them and helping them understand what growth mindset was, a fourth grader looked up to one of the investigators and said, "You mean I don't have to be stupid anymore?" And I think about that, and that of all the things in that book, that one moment really has stuck with me. And I read this book years ago, and I'm thinking to myself, where in that child's life did he feel like he always would be stupid? Who was feeding him those seeds, right? His mind was obviously, a child's mind is so fertile to grow whatever seeds we put there. But our minds are the same. I mean, I have had so many patient conversations, and they just so mean to themselves and so judgmental. So we have to think about how we set and grow our mindset, and how do we do that, right? How do we walk away from people saying things or hurtful things and not take those in and allow them to grow and take root and take up rent, right? Or take up space without paying rent. um well, there's something here I want to share with you, and let's talk a little bit about it. So basically, let's think about the power of a fertile mind, right? So if you think of your mind like a garden, right? The thoughts, the beliefs, and attitudes we hold are the seeds we plant. And these seeds determine what will grow in the garden of our lives, right? So when the mind is fertile, these seeds have the best chance to take root and bloom into actions and behaviors and feelings that foster happiness and joy. So to think of it just like a garden, um, our minds need regular care, attention, and the right conditions to truly flourish. Okay. And a fertile mind is not something you're born with, right? It's something we cultivate through conscious effort and intentionality. It involves clearing out the weeds of negativity, self doubt, fear, and really creating a nurturing environment where positive thoughts and joyful emotions can really blossom. And the beautiful thing is that anyone, and I mean anyone, can cultivate a fertile mind, regardless of where you're starting from, what your difficulties is. I don't care what is going on in your life. You absolutely can start day one today by creating a fertile mind. You just need the right care and attention. We can literally all create mental space where happiness and joy can grow abundantly. So, how do we do this? Let's talk about preparing the soil, right? You really want to be creating an environment for joy, right? So, the first step in creating that fertile mind is to prepare the soil, to create that environment that supports growth, happiness, and transformation. So, here's a few practical tips. Number one is mindful awareness, right? So, just as a gardener is carefully examining the soil before planting, we need to be aware of our current state of minds, right? Are your thoughts mostly uplifting and supportive, or do they tend to be critical and limiting? Do you find yourself gossiping because you feel better when someone feels worse than you? Pay attention to your inner dialogue. What is that chatter going on in your mind, right? This self awareness is the foundation in making any meaningful change. And when you're aware of your mental patterns, we begin to choose our thoughts that foster joy because we begin to challenge those thoughts, right? Are they actually real? Um, Maybe those thoughts were seeds that someone planted in your mind 20 years ago, but you allowed them to flourish. And honestly, it really doesn't even matter where they came from. All you need to be is aware of them and that it's time to get rid of it. And so that leads me to the next step, clearing out the weeds, right? So negative thoughts and limiting beliefs are like weeds that can really overrun your mental garden, right? It's stifling the growth of happiness and joy. So just like weeds choke out, the good stuff, those thoughts, those beliefs absolutely do the same thing, right? So this might include something like self-criticism, fear of failure, or past regrets, right? So the key is not to ignore these thoughts, right? Because that just what you resist will persist, but to recognize them and gently challenge them by asking yourself, is this belief helping me find or feel joyful? It's just like I can't remember the name of the book, but it's like clearing out the clutter. And since I live in an RV now, we've had to clear out things and get rid of a lot of stuff. So I was like, does this item actually bring me joy? Well, I would say the same thing about any beliefs. Is this belief helping me feel joyful? And if it's not, it's time to let it go, right? Removing the mental weeds makes room for more joyful thoughts to take root. Um, there's only so much energy you have every day. So why are you feeding those thoughts and beliefs that are crushing your soul? Right? So number three is nourishing the soil, right? So once the weeds are cleared, we need to enrich our minds with positive influences, right? This could mean surrounding ourselves with loving people, engaging in activities that bring us happiness, or simply practicing gratitude. Just as like compost enriches the soil, right? Positive experiences and emotions nourish your mind. So engaging in acts of kindness, it could be as simply as saying good morning to someone, a stranger you pass on the street, spending time in nature, indulging in a creative hobby. These all can be nutrients for your mental soil, and really just making that environment so richer for joy and happiness to grow. Next is really choosing your seeds wisely, right? We don't just grab some cheap seeds off the cart and throw them in the soil. We really want to be deliberate and intentional, right? So we want to be deliberate about the thoughts and beliefs you want to plant, right? So these could be affirmations, these could be intentions or goals that align with a joyful life that you want to create. So remember, not every seed will grow, even though you want it to, but the more you plant, the greater your chances are of success. So plant seeds of joy by focusing on what makes you feel alive and fulfilled, right? And nurture those thoughts daily. And don't feel guilty about doing this. Work this, because guess what? When your cup is full, it overflows into others in your life, into other, your work, your relationships, and things just get easier. Life suddenly, the sun is brighter, right? The grass is greener, the sky is bluer. And I know this sounds like woo-woo stuff, but it's so true. It literally happened in my own life. um, Next, the last step would be consistency is key, right? So a garden requires regular care, and so does your mind, right? So consistency in your practices, whether it's meditation, mindfulness, journaling, or simply taking time each day to appreciate the beauty around you, helps you really maintain the fertility of your mind. So small daily actions, guys, compound over time, just like interest in a bank account, leads to significant growth in your capacity for happiness and joy. And you don't have to go searching for it. You don't have to go find the happiness. You don't have to go find the, outside thing that you think, oh, this person or this activity or this amount of money will make me happy. Suddenly you are the joy and vessel of happiness, because it just comes up out of you, right? And this starts with cultivating that mind. So even after you've cultivated your fertile mind, remember there is still some tending that needs to occur, right? So it's important to remember that it's an ongoing process. So just as a gardener must continually tend to the garden, we need to be vigilant and proactive in maintaining our mental environment. Life will bring you challenges. That is what life does, and setbacks or perceived setbacks. But with a fertile mind, we are so much better equipped to handle these obstacles and continue to grow in our capacity for joy, right? So, what do we do there? How do we continue to watch this? Well, prune regularly, right? Just as dead leaves and overgrowth can hinder a garden's health, unhelpful thoughts, habits can stunt our growth. So take time regularly to reflect on what's no longer serving you and be willing to make changes. Sometimes those are hard conversations that you have to have, or sometimes those are relationships that you have to leave. Sometimes it's you have to say no when you really want to say no, but you struggle with that. You're always tending to say yes because you don't want to disappoint someone. We got to get in the habit of saying no when you know you need to. Just remember, if certain thoughts or habits are dimming your joy, it is time to prune them and let them go to the compost pile. It's just time. Two, embrace your seasons of joy. Woo, every season, every garden goes through seasons, and so do we, right? There will be times of vibrant joy and times of quiet contentment. Um, Accepting the natural cycle, just like as we're entering into fall, there's a natural cycle in nature. You just have to accept this natural cycle, and that will help us stay resilient and patient with ourselves, right? Knowing that every season has its beauty and purpose. Embrace both the vibrant blooms and the periods of rest. Both are essential for flourishing garden of happiness, just like your body is awake during the day and then we go to sleep, right? That's the time of restoration, of being refreshed, and the mind and the muscles and everything is rejuvenating because it's resting, it's recouping, and then it's ready for the next day. And finally, I would say you really want to celebrate your happiness, right? So acknowledge and celebrate your progress, right? No matter how small. So recognizing your growth in the moments of joy you experience reinforces those positive patterns, and that motivates you to continue nurturing your fertile mind. So whether it's a moment of peace, a burst of laughter, a sense of gratitude that came from nowhere, savor those joyful experiences. They are the fruits of your mindful cultivation. And if you've never seen my video on the Asian pear that just brought me this greatest sense of joy and gratitude, it was, I think about, I don't know, 2 years ago or so, I don't know, a year and a half ago. It's the Asian pear. I found this Asian pear. I was at a conference and I wasn't expecting it. I went down to the little place, for the breakfast just to see what they have. And I found this bowl had two Asian pears, and I picked one of them up, and I don't know why, but I was almost on the tears and the joy, because I wasn't expecting. I was so present in that moment. And so I got on and I made a video. I was like, whatever this is, I want more of it. And because I made that intention and I spoke it, more of that has come into my life. And to now that it's almost on a daily moment to moment experience. And I hope this resonates with you. I really, I prayed that this will reach someone. Maybe you're struggling, but I hope this really can just uplift you. And so I just really want to encourage you to reflect on the state of your mental garden and think about what can you do? What are those seeds of joy that you're planting? And what weeds can you remove? And know that you're worth it. Every moment of every day, you're absolutely worth it. And so, it's a little different than my normal, but I hope you guys like it. But take care, and I'm sending you gratitude, joy, and love as usual, and more healing because we all need more of it in this world. So, have a good day, everyone, and great evening.